Welcome to the ultimate gridiron debate. We're putting two titans of the turf, two legends who dominated the 70s and 80s, right under the microscope. In one corner, you've got the slashing, electrifying speed of Dallas Cowboys icon, Tony Dorsett. In the other, the powerful, relentless engine of the Pittsburgh Steelers dynasty, Franco. Both men carved out legacies that are stitched into the history of the NFL. Dorsett, the Heisman winner who glided to a Super Bowl victory in his rookie season. Harris, the cornerstone of 4 Super Bowl championships, made immortal by a single, miraculous catch. For years, fans have argued about their greatness. Who was the more gifted runner? Who meant more to their team? Who truly stands taller in the pantheon of all-time greats? Today, we settle it. We're going to break down their careers, piece by piece, from the raw stats to their defining moments, to deliver a final verdict. Let's get to it. Numbers don't lie, but they can definitely tell different stories. When you line up the career stats of Tony Dorsett and Franco, you see two of the most productive backs to ever play. But if you look closer, the details start to emerge, painting a picture of two very different offensive weapons. Let's start with the big one, rushing yards. Tony Dorsett wrapped up his 12-year career with a massive 12,739 rushing yards. Harris, over 13 seasons, racked up 12,120. On paper, that's advantage Dorsett. He played one less season but finished with over 600 more yards. That speaks volumes about his consistency and big play ability. Dorsett was a machine, cranking out 8 1,000-yard seasons in his first 9 years. The only time he missed that mark was the strike-shortened 1982 season, where he still finished as the top rusher in the NFC. But this is where the story shifts. Let's talk about the currency of winning: touchdowns. Franco punched it in 91 times on the ground. Add in his 9 receiving scores, and you get a nice, round 100 career touchdowns. Dorsett found the end zone 77 times as a runner, and with his 13 receiving touchdowns, that brings his total to 90. Harris was the Steelers' hammer. When the field got short and things got tough, number 32 was the guy they counted on to get the 6 points. He even led the entire NFL in rushing touchdowns back in 1976. That tells you everything about his role and the trust his team put in him. Now for the metric that separates the grinders from the game breakers: yards per carry. This is where Tony Dorsett's explosive talent really pops. For his career, Dorsett averaged a stellar 4.3 yards every time he took a handoff. Harris clocked in at a very solid 4.1. That might seem like a tiny difference, but over thousands of carries, it adds up. Dorsett's higher average points to his elite, breakaway speed. He wasn't just moving the chains, he was a threat to take it to the house from anywhere. And you can't forget the passing game. Here, Dorsett also has the edge. He was a natural pass catcher, pulling in 398 receptions for over 3,500 yards and those 13 scores. Harris was no slouch, catching 307 passes himself. But in Tom Landry's offense, Dorsett was a true dual threat who created mismatches all over the field. So after round 1, the stats are split. Dorsett takes the win on total rushing yards, yards per carry, and his work as a receiver, which shows off his dynamic, explosive style. But Harris takes the crown in total touchdowns, proving he was the more reliable scorer and the heartbeat of his offense. The numbers confirm what we already suspected. This is a clash of two very different, but equally legendary, styles. Stats only tell part of the story. To really get it, you have to watch them play. You have to see how they moved, how they dominated defenses. The eye test reveals two completely different kinds of artists at work. Watching Tony Dorsett was like trying to catch a blur. At 5 feet 11 inches, 192 pounds, he was all about speed, agility, and making defenders look silly in the open field. Dorsett had this unique, gliding run style. He moved so smoothly, effortlessly finding a crease and just exploding through it. His first step was incredible, letting him hit the hole before it was even really there. Coach Tom Landry, a guy known for his rigid systems, eventually figured out the best way to use Dorsett was to just let him create. He told his line to just get a helmet on a defender and let Tony's vision do the rest. Dorsett was a slasher. He could plant his foot and change direction at full speed, leaving linebackers grabbing at air. He didn't run through tacklers. He ran around them, past them, and away from them. His style was just electric, a constant threat of a game-changing play. And then there was Franco Harris. Standing 6 feet 2 inches and weighing a solid 230 pounds, Harris was a different animal. He was a power back, sure, but calling him just a bruiser is a huge disservice. Harris had this famously patient style. He was one of the first guys to really let the play develop. He'd shuffle his feet, survey the chaos at the line with this incredible vision, and then, boom, he'd hit the lane with the force of a freight train. Harris wasn't known for breakaway speed like Dorsett, but his power was off the charts. He was ridiculously hard to bring down. Now, some people back in the day criticized him for being soft because he would smartly run out of bounds to avoid big hits. Harris himself said he did it to preserve his body for a long career, a strategy that clearly worked, letting him be the Steelers' workhorse for 12 punishing seasons. His style wasn't always as flashy as Dorsett's, but man, was it effective. He wore defenses down, quarter after quarter. So, who wins the eye test? It's a classic battle, the artist versus the engineer. Dorsett was poetry in motion, a human highlight reel. Harris was a master of attrition, a relentless force of power and intelligence that just broke his opponent's will. There's no single right answer here. It all comes down to what you prefer. The jaw-dropping play that flips a game in a second? Or the methodical march that controls the clock and the entire field? Both were masters, and their different styles are what make this debate so great. A player's greatness isn't just about yards. It's about moments. It's about how you play when the lights are brightest and a championship is on the line. Here, we look at the defining plays, the title runs, and the real impact Dorsett and Harris had. Tony Dorsett didn't just join the Dallas Cowboys, he completed them. Drafted in 1977, he was the final piece of the puzzle. His impact was instant. In his rookie season, he rushed for over 1,000 yards, scored 12 touchdowns, and was named Offensive Rookie of the Year. More importantly, he led the Cowboys to a win in Super Bowl 12, making him the first player ever to win a college national title and a Super Bowl back-to-back. Dorsett was a winner from the second he stepped on a pro field. His legacy is sealed by one of the most famous plays in NFL history. January 3, 1983. The Cowboys are backed up on their own 1-yard line. Dorsett takes the handoff and explodes. 99 yards later, it's a touchdown. It is a record that can never be broken, only tied. And what makes that run even more legendary? The Cowboys only had 10 men on the field. That single play is Tony Dorsett in a nutshell. A game-breaking talent who could create history out of nothing. Then you turn to Franco Harris, a man whose impact is basically the definition of the word dynasty. Before Harris arrived in 1972, the Pittsburgh Steelers were a joke. They had never won a playoff game in 40 years. The moment they drafted him, everything changed. His teammate, the legendary Joe Green, said Harris was the one who lifted the team to a new level of confidence, making them believe they could actually win. And boy, did they win. With Harris as the offensive centerpiece, the Steelers won 4 Super Bowls in 6 years, becoming one of the greatest dynasties in sports. Harris wasn't just on the team, he was the engine. He was the MVP of Super Bowl IX after running for a then-record 158 yards against Minnesota's Purple People Eaters defense. In the playoffs, Harris was a beast, with over 1,500 rushing yards and 17 touchdowns in 19 games. His 354 career rushing yards in the Super Bowl is still a record. And of course, you can't say Franco Harris without talking about the most famous play in NFL history. The Immaculate Reception. 1972 playoffs. Steelers are losing to the Raiders, seconds left. A deflected pass comes flying down, and out of nowhere, the rookie Harris scoops it inches off the turf and runs for the game-winning touchdown. It was the franchise's first ever playoff win. That play didn't just win a game. It changed the culture of a team and a city, kicking off a decade of dominance. When you compare their impact, the scales tip. Dorsett's career is incredible, full of amazing individual highlights, and a Super Bowl he was crucial in winning. But Franco Harris' impact was on a dynastic level. He was the foundation for 4 Super Bowl titles. While Dorsett was a superstar on a championship team, Harris was the guy the dynasty was built around. His impact on winning is just on another plane. All right, we've looked at the stats, we've watched the tape, and we've weighed their legacies. It's time for the final verdict. Both are absolute legends, first ballot Hall of Famers who helped define a generation. But we came here to pick one. Tony Dorsett was, arguably, the more purely talented, explosive running back. His 4.3 yards per carry, his home run speed, and his skills as a receiver, they paint the picture of a more dynamic weapon. That 99-yard run is a moment of pure athletic genius that will last forever. He was a champion from day one and a star for America's team. By any measure, he's one of the greatest. But he wasn't better than Franco Harris. The verdict is in. The superior player, the running back with the greater career and the more profound legacy, is Franco Harris. And here's the controversial reason we promised. In football, individual brilliance is amazing, but winning is what's immortal. While Dorsett was a superstar, Franco Harris was a kingmaker. His arrival in Pittsburgh turned a forgotten franchise into a juggernaut. He was the steady, powerful heart of four, not one, but four, Super Bowl winning teams. His greatness wasn't just in his numbers, but in when he delivered them. He's the all-time leading rusher in Super Bowl history. He was the MVP of Super Bowl IX. He was the hero of the single most iconic play in the sport's history, a play that literally gave birth to a dynasty. It's easy to get mesmerized by Dorsett's flashy style, but when you do that, you miss the relentless, soul-crushing consistency and championship impact of Franco Harris. He wasn't just a running back, he was the foundation of a dynasty. His power, vision, and unmatched production when it mattered most give him the undeniable edge. Tony Dorsett was a shooting star, brilliant and dazzling. But Franco Harris was the sun that the entire Steelers universe revolved around for a decade. And in the end, that's the real measure of greatness. But hey, that's just our take. The beauty of these debates is that everyone has an opinion. Who do you think was better? The electrifying speed of Dorsett or the dynastic power of Franco? Drop your pick in the comments below. We want to hear from you. If you enjoyed this breakdown, do us a favor and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another legendary showdown. And don't forget to click on the playlist above to watch more NFL Hall of Famers of their era. Thanks for watching.